Hello, and welcome to the Dementia Dish, Adapting the Environment. I'm Danielle Farrell, and I will be going through adapting the environment with you today. People living with dementia can have difficulty with wayfinding even in their own environments. So we can help them with wayfinding by placing signage around their environment, including their home. This may look like toilet signs on bathroom doors. This can look like pictures of beds on bedroom doors, labels on kitchen drawers and cabinets, on closets and dresser drawers, in a way to help the person to be able to navigate more independently. Yellow and black signs are often the best and placed at eye level. And there's all sorts of things that we can label for people in order to make it easier for them. So here are just some suggestions. Taps for hot and cold. So having a hot and cold label, putting those right beside each tap or on the taps themselves would be very helpful. Having light switches labeled with on and off. Same with appliances that may not be very well marked as to where the power buttons are, the off switches, things of that nature. So labeling those very clearly. Anything that is in a yellow-black background with a black writing is often the easiest for persons who might be having difficulties or changes in perceptions in order to pick up. So here's just some suggestions here. Kitchens are in particularly very difficult for people living with dementia, remembering from one time to the next where mugs or cups are kept or where the cutlery is kept. And that can be very frustrating for them. So labeling the drawers with something that has both the words and the picture. If you're concerned about, ruining the, the cabinets, you can get MacTac, which looks like a little bit like putty. You put on the back of the label so that you can easily take those labels on and off without damage to the other product. But this can be very, very helpful. Floors for people living with dementia can be particularly difficult as perception changes. People living with dementia may find that a speckled floor looks like dirt or like bugs. And so they're trying to pick up those things from the ground. If the floor is in a pattern, like carpets that are patterned, for example, the person living with dementia who's already having difficulty with the depth perception may find that even harder to navigate. That will make falls more likely. Black mats or very dark mats. A person living with dementia may perceive that is a hole in the ground and that it is not a solid surface and therefore may not step onto the mat. And so that's a consideration. If you have a black mat just outside the house, the person may not want to step into the house because they have to step on that mat. So keep that in mind. The use of non-shiny or reflective floors is preferred. The reason for that is those perceptual changes in the brain of a person living with dementia. That floor may be seen as ice or water if it's got sort of that shiny surface. And so the person living with dementia may be reluctant to walk on that surface. So if you find that's the case, it may be a great idea to put down an area rug that is not dark and not patterned in order to cover up that shiny floor. For household appliances, often there's a lot of safety concern about leaving appliances on. And so you want to look at things that can auto shut off. So there's lots of auto shut off products out there. So you've got irons and kettles and things of that nature that will shut off. There are also for ovens, whether they're an electrical plug-in oven or a wired in oven or stove, there is products that you can, if you Google search, they'll come up, and they're not that expensive. And you can use these devices to auto shut off. So what it will do is, after a certain amount of time, if it doesn't sense any activity going on the stove, it will turn the stove off. So that's just a really great safety feature. Also, because hot and cold can get mixed up and people may use the wrong taps, you can also get for your water heaters, gadgets that will ensure that there can't be any scalding, so that it will only let the water heat to a certain degree or level. So that's another consideration for a household adaptation. If the person living with dementia starts to have difficulty with door handles that are the knob type, the round type, then you may want to consider the lever door handles. Those are easier for most seniors, especially also if they have arthritis or some joint issues. And as a result of their dementia, they can also start to have mobility changes. And so lever door handles tend to be easier. When you're storing food in the fridge for them, so they can have maybe leftovers, pre-cooked things you've made for them, perhaps, then you want to use clear food containers and at eye level in the fridge. That'll make it much easier for the person living with dementia to find and to see what's in there. People living with dementia often start to have color contrast difficulties. So a white plate on a white tablecloth, or a white plate with potato or rice on it, and the person eats everything else, but they do not eat the rice or the mashed potato, it can be because they did not see the white food product on the white plate. So what happens in their brains is that it's seen as one object, not as two. And so that starts to happen as their brain changes. And so a great idea is some color contrast, from the dinnerware to the tablecloth or to the placemat, and just making sure that there's some color contrast so that things can be perceived as two different items. This can also go for walls and doors as well. So in a household or in a setting where all of the walls and doors are painted the same color, that can be very difficult for the person living with dementia to be able to perceive where the doors are. So painting the doors that you want them to be able to find easily, like bedroom doors, bathroom doors, painting them a different color than the wall color can be very effective and helpful. People living with dementia may also mistaken cleaning products and sharp objects and things like that for other objects. So cleaning supplies, for example, may be mistaken for juice containers. Soaps may be mistaken for drinks as well, and they may get ingested. So a great idea is to keep those cleaning products and soaps out of the kitchen area where food is kept, so that the person doesn't make that air and cause a safety issue for themselves. Great idea too is to keep power tools and power things out of plain view, and to be kept in an area where they can't be mistaken for something else and used incorrectly. Well-lit rooms. So people living with dementia with those brain changes might start to have difficulties understanding what different shadows are that are being cast, and may not be able to perceive things as accurately as before. So keeping overhead lighting and keeping an area well lit is a great idea for helping out with that particular issue. So we hope that you enjoyed today's dementia dish, where we provide little bits of information on topics that are important to care partners who support persons living with dementia and persons living with dementia themselves. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, that would be wonderful. If you liked today's video, please hit share and like. and come back for more of our dementia dishes. If you have more questions or you'd like more information on particular topics, please contact us at Service Access or direct.support@alzheimerpeel.com, and we will be sure to provide you with more information. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope to see you back at Dementia Dish soon.